Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the virtual breakfast sessions. I'm Larry Sashin, and today we have a great show for you. We're going to be speaking to three business owners, restaurant owners, who are considered small to medium sized. And we're going to be talking about the problems and advantages that they have being small to medium sized. But before we do that, I'd like to mention the people who are paying for this show, our sponsors. First of all, we have expense reduction analysts and their representative in our local area, Ed Flanagan. Hey, you know, there is gold hidden in your invoices. So please, if you want to find that gold, call expense reduction analysts. And Produce Experience, if you want the finest in herbs, salads, and tropical produce, call Produce Experience. So back to our panel. All you read in the papers and here on the news is inflation and businesses folding and businesses consolidating. Investment groups are buying up restaurants left and right. So how as a small to medium size operator do you avoid that that problem, remedy, whatever you want to call it? Chef Kui, why don't you introduce yourself first and we'll go around the room and then we'll talk about it.
Well, can you turn that light on?
All right. Well, hello everyone. How we doing today? My name is Chef Kui from Charles Pan Fried Chicken, Harlem Finest Soul Food. We have 3 locations: 145th and Edgecombe, 76th Street on the west side, and 125th between Amsterdam and Morningside. It's a pleasure to be here, guys.
Okay, great. Sergio, say hello to the people.
Hello. This is Sergio Penacchio, owner of Piccola Trattoria. Been in the business for 30 years now, with different locations, including catering. Just started a new location, which went from 40 seats to 90. And yeah, very happy to be doing this. Thank you for the invite.
And everybody, it is a tough reservation. So, plan ahead. Josh, say hello.
Good morning. I'm Josh Rustupper, a co-owner of Russ & Daughters, and we now have 4 locations: the original spot on the Lower East Side, a restaurant on the Lower East Side, a spot in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and then our newest location in Hudson Yards on 34th and 10th.
Okay, thank you all. So, back to our topic. What is it like to be David in a world of Goliaths? Chef Kui, why don't you start?
David in the world of Goliath. When I was younger, my mom, single parent, would save her pennies. That would be her main thing. Save my pennies to get it going, and that's what we do. Every penny counts. Right now, before this, I'm going over labor, see where I can cut. But it's the juggle. It's the juggle that's the difficulty. You cut labor, then you sacrifice service. So it's to find that happy medium. You're trying to find reduced costs when it comes to food. Chicken's getting sick now. My chicken prices will go up soon. So now how do I combat that? So that's the juggle every day when it comes to finance with the small businesses, because it's not like we don't have that Starbucks cash. We don't have that. So that backup is not there like that. So it's just finding the fine tune, see where you could save, see where you could expand. And the juggle is you raise prices and then affect your customers. So that's in this world of David and Goliath for myself.
Okay, Josh.
Hi, Russ & Daughters, we've been around for 110 years. And for a long time, we were one little shop, certainly at David in the world of Goliath. And now we're growing and trying to do that in a controlled way. So we're certainly not a Goliath, but we are changing. So we have a human resources director. We have a labor lawyer on the phone whenever we need them. So we're moving towards systematizing and these things. But to be a small business in a world of very large businesses, it's really challenging. I think we said a lot of the things that we all face. Controlling quality is one of our big things, and being able to train and keep labor is another huge challenge for us. We want to keep employees for long periods of time, and that's become more and more challenging. So how do we do that? What do we offer them to make our workplace a place that someone wants to stay for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? And then just keeping up with inflation, as you mentioned earlier, Larry. It's a lot of raising prices and making sure we're not losing money on selling a sandwich or a dish. And if we are, if that's not going to really hurt us that badly. So really staying on top of everything without the amount of labor and people in those positions, accounting, A&R, all these things. So a lot of the stuff a lot more work falls on the few people that we have employed. So it's quite challenging.
Thank you. Thank you. Sergio.
I couldn't agree more with this gentleman. It's all a challenge. What's easier on my part is that I only have one location at the moment. I work side by side with my staff, which I find that they have a lot of respect for that. The 6 months that I've been open now, most of my staff is still there. And the ones that worked with me in the past, they have followed, that's a great thing. Yes, it's a great thing to have, because customers like to see their same faces. You build a trust between your staff as well. And now when it comes to keeping the doors open, especially today with the cost of merchandise and all, that is a big challenge. How do you build your menu? That's you have to offer what customers want. You have to build a menu based on quality, prices, and then you just train your staff to sell what has the highest profit. That's
Yes. Freddie, you saying?
I'm listening. I'm listening. No, I'm
Okay.
listening.
So I have a question. So all you seem to be growing one way or another, whether you're adding another store or you're adding Sergio, who's more than doubled in size. But I notice, and I mentioned Sergio because I have the biggest experience with him. The experience from the small place to the large place hasn't changed. How do you maintain that same feel? I mean, like you said, Josh, you had one place and now you have 4. So how does the person that knows the Russ and Daughters in the Lower East Side, how do they know when they go to Hudson Yards, it's going to be the same experience?
Well, that is probably our biggest challenge as we grow, to maintain that experience, because it is so special and in a lot of ways so unique to the original Russ and Daughters because of the place. So there's like a physical aspect of that experience. But in terms of training, we train our employees to slice as good as we can. That thin hand slicing is very important to us. So it's a lot of training, and then beyond, well, it's also training, but the idea of Russ and Daughters. So I was just talking to someone about, this big corporations have mission statements. And I told them, we don't have a mission statement because our history and dedication to connecting the history to the present is our mission. And if an employee can understand the importance of Russ and Daughters to our customers, then they get the mission. It's a great challenge, right? So Nikki and myself are the owners of the business, and we have all that institutional knowledge. And the challenge for us is to pass that on to our GMs and managers and employees. And it's a lot of talking about who we are in the world and what we do for our customers. It seems very sort of anti-corporate because it's a very like emotional, interactive thing, but that's really the basis of who we are. Having that interaction over the counter and meeting the customers where they are. Now, Larry, you said, how does the customer from the Lower East Side know they're going to get the exact same experience at 34th Street? They're not, right? We don't have all of the same items, but they will hopefully feel some of that, what we call the Russ and Daughters experience in all of the locations. And, you know, some people are very unhappy with that. And that same exact experience is, like I said, it's a function of place in a lot of ways for our original store. So it's very challenging.
So
Okay,
I have a question I want to ask. So how much of the replication or growth of the experience comes from the ability to take what you're doing in the back of the house, whether we're making chicken, whether we're making bagels, cutting beautiful fish. At some point, the way that we prep an a la carte basis for a small restaurant versus a larger operation, how do you replicate to be able to create volume at a high quality?
Well, we opened our basically commissary production facility in 2018 in Brooklyn. So we have a big 18,000 square foot space. So a lot of the salads and a lot of that prep stuff that used to happen in the back of the store happens in Brooklyn, which is a great way to normalize and make that equal. Obviously, there's always, you know, maintaining quality and changing stuff. But then a lot of what happens in Russ and Daughters now is making sandwiches, and that happens on the counter. And that's, you know, training. Like we'll train someone for 3 months at times to slice before they're allowed to slice for a customer, which is a huge cost.
Yeah.
And very challenging. It takes a lot of time and effort. But slicing is a huge part of it. But then just putting the sandwich together and you know, creating SOPs and training procedures and trying to have our managers and GMs be able to relay that information appropriately to the counter people is important. But it's quite a challenge.
Thank you. Chef Kui.
Yes.
A lot of what your people do is repetitive. And it was obvious when Fred and I met you that you love chicken and catfish. You just love making it. You love turning it out. You just basically, it's in your blood. So how do you move that love of the chicken and the product? How do you move that love from your heart to the heart of your employees?
So it's a passion. I love cooking. I'm a chef. I love creating. So it's not just the chicken and the catfish. Anything I put my hands on, I love creating. Being a chef is being selfless, or is it selfish? I don't know, because I want you to enjoy my food, and I get enjoyment out of you enjoying my food. You know, that's what it's all about. When you eat our food, we want you to spark a happy memory. You know, have you go back. And like was said, it's a culture that we have in the restaurant. My employees have to buy in the culture. Charles Gabriel started this 50 years ago, picking cotton on the plantation, coming to New York, selling food off the table, from the table to a truck, to a brick and mortar. You know, COVID came, shut them down. Now I'm here with them. We're opening up 3 new restaurants. We did 4. You know, shut down 1. We got 3 in New York City, and the hardest place in the world to have a restaurant. And to bring people in, to have that culture, to save money, I'm like a DIY kind of guy when it comes to everything. I literally hands-on when it comes to the multimedia. I'm hands-on with the social media. I'm hands-on when it comes to the coaching, the training, and that's what I do. I coach and train. When you come in, we do have a mission statement, and it's we provide authentic soul food created by Chef Charles Gabriel with outstanding customer service. And that's number 1, is that outstanding customer service. So when I hire someone, I have to relate to them. You know, when you go to lunchroom, when you was in high school, you would go inside the lunchroom and you see different tables. And each table was a certain set of group. You had your jocks over here, your nerds over here, and so forth and so forth. When you come into the restaurant and we hire you and we train you, you have to be able to sit at our table. Now, not every relationship don't work. Every person don't fit, and it's okay. But as a business owner, you got to learn when to let go immediately, because now you're wasting money. You're wasting money, you're wasting training, you're wasting time on someone else that could be valuable. So we have a very little bit short period of time to see if they click with us. So that's the lunch table, is the click. Do y'all click with us? Can you absorb our culture and exuberate it when a guest come in? Can you be on your feet for 9 hours in a hot kitchen, and when a guest come in, can you say, "Welcome to Charles Pan Fried Chicken," with a smile on your face? Not everybody can. And if you can't, you don't make the cut. It's like a football team. If you can't produce, you can't play the game, you got to be replaced. And then it goes to the coaching. But you don't want to replace, you want to retain, because that time that you're coaching, the time that you're training, the time that you're wasting food, cutting slices of meat, and they're not cutting for the guests at all for another 3 months. It's crazy. Like, think about the money that's being wasted. Like, but is it it's an investment. It's a constant investment that we do, and it's a gamble. We hope that the employees work out, and everything's a gamble because we don't know. We're playing Russian roulette every time, because at the end of the day, it comes to our money and our livelihood. For them, it's not as intense. But if you come in and you see the culture, you understand what it is, you buy in, like Russian daughters, you understand how long they've been here, and you like, this is important. That mind frame, that mind structure, that mental fortitude, if they get it, then it's amazing. But if they don't, then it's like, okay, go back to work again. So this is where I'm at. And I have 3 locations. So I'm constantly like, I have 3 o'clock in the morning, I get up, I'm at the gym. Now I go to the restaurants in the morning time right now. And then in the afternoon, and then at night, and then we cook our food fresh. So we have an overnight staff, from 12 to 7 a.m. We're cooking yams, we're cooking collard greens, we're cooking. So I have to make sure everything, and I got to pop in. I can't just tell, hey, I'm coming at this time. I got to make sure things is good. So it's a gamble, but if you don't love what you do, if you don't have a passion, then this is going to be hell. It's going to be hell. And it's always a place where, am I doing the right thing? Like, there's no blueprint. Like, I can go right now and ask, hey, listen, Rustin Daughters, what did you do? What's the blueprint? And I follow exactly what he did. I may not win. If there's no blueprint of what you do, like, you're hoping everything's a gamble if it works. And how I think about it is, what would I want? So I try to give my guests experience that I have. So when you come in and eat, I don't know what you're going through. You can have a death in your family. You can have lost your job. I don't know. But when you come in, guess what? I guarantee you, this food is fresh. I guarantee you, great service. I guarantee you're going to be happy when you come in here, because I'm going to exuberate that. And if you're not, I'm not going to add on to the bullshit of your day. I'm adding on, hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Have a great day. Hey, try this, try this. Awesome. Have a great, and that's all we can do in the community. And when someone has that attitude, when someone is positive, and then you stick to them and you train them and you hope that they last.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was a lot.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Sergio, you had this place where that was the name of his restaurant is Piccola Trattoria. Okay, it was really Piccola. It was like moving. It was eating dinner. 40 people eating dinner in Sergio's living room. Okay, so the experience was wonderful because everyone knew that at one point Sergio was coming out of the kitchen and greeting every guest in the restaurant. Okay. He moves 8 doors down the street, and now his place is 3 times the size. 3 times the size. And everybody says now he's moved from 40 to 90 people in the restaurant, 40 to 90 people in the restaurant, and the restaurant is booming. And yet the food tastes the same. The food is served the same. And everybody is greeted by Sergio. So how do you make something like that happen?
Well, I try to figure that one out myself, actually, but it does happen. It does. The staff, the help I have next to me, I've been lucky to find great people, They kind of take over the kitchen when the moment that I can step out of there. I'm on the line most of the time. I pretty much touch every dish that comes out of the kitchen. At least I try, especially now. But the moment that I see that it slows down a little bit, and I have that 5 to 10 minutes to step out of the kitchen, and that's what I go straight to the dining room, to the customer. I truly enjoy that part, talking to the customers, and I can, aside from seeing how they feel about it, I pick up a lot of things on how I'm moving forward with the business as well. I can tell that if my prices are high on the menu, or I can raise them a little bit or not. I know what makes them comfortable as far as the seating arrangement and how my staff is doing on the floor. All that is communicating through having that contact with the customer. Now, how it happens? I mean, I've been very lucky with this location. It's been very busy. There's those 5 to 10 minutes that I throughout the 4 or 5 hours of service that I in between that I take, and I walk around the dining room. And it comes down to the staff. It comes down to the people around me that I have that they're able to take over when I step out of my position.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. Sergio, talk a little bit about how you ended up with this expanded space. What did somebody go out of business? How did this happen?
Well, the location that I had, the building, somebody bought the building. That building came down, so I had to move out. 2 years later, this right down the street from where it was, there used to be a pub. It is actually 4 times the size of the old Piccola. My kitchen is right now is actually the size of the old restaurant. I have almost 60 seats in the dining room, plus another 40 in at the bar, which we do serve food at the bar. We have high tops as well. The location became available. The landlord contacted me and offered, and we came to an agreement. That worked out great for me because I was back in the neighborhood with of course a bigger space and a bar which we know how big difference that makes.
Yes. Thank you. I have a question, and I'm going to direct this to Josh and Chef Kui because their circumstance. Now, Sergio, when prices in veal go up, you make a different dish. You instead of veal parmesan, you make chicken parmesan. Add pasta dishes. You can juggle your menu to keep a price point. But Charles, Chef Kui, there is no substitute for chicken.
No,
There is no substitute for chicken. There is no substitute for lox.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So how do you deal with a customer who thinks your product is already too expensive? What do you do to keep them coming back?
And that's the catch right there. Do I raise my prices, and would that help my revenue, or would that make people not come? As of right now, we do have the lowest price at all in Harlem, but people still say that the prices are too high. It's still a thing. Do I raise it $1? right now, chicken price is going to be crazy pretty soon in the next 2 weeks. But is it fair? And it's a constant juggle. This is where I kind of lose sleep. Do I increase it? Do I raise it? But listen, I actually just focus on the service. It boils down to the quality of food that cannot change, that cannot. Upselling, this is where you try to upsell. This is where you add on a dessert where you can have the perfect check. You know, we're a takeout restaurant, but still, there's such thing as the perfect check in a takeout restaurant. You come in, you order your drink, you order a dessert, you order your meal. So that's the mindset I got to get everybody in to upsell. You know, to bring people in. I have to keep the menu fresh. I have to throw on a new soul food wraps. You know, anything to get them coming through the door. But I cannot change the chicken. I cannot change the ribs. I cannot change the turkey wings. I cannot change the pork chops. All that is a steady thing. And I can't chop it up and make soup. But the gamble is, you know, just hit them with the head, what I constantly do. But it goes with the catering. Caterings actually help balance everything out, especially when you have these huge caterings, like from Greater Performance where I met you at. You know what I mean? So things like that do happen. And I'm blessed. And I'm blessed to have the kind of quality standard of food that people will understand and recognize that this is not a fast food joint. Like this is real quality food that we take time. When you come to the restaurant, we're cooking it fresh in front of your face. Like it's not just sitting there, like literally in the pans in front of your face and cooking. So I just gotta hope and pray and rely on the culture that we have of authentic food. And you know, fortunately, our customers understand and they're with it. They're with it. They understand that it's fresh food. It's fresh, and they're coming for it. And they understand like they can make this at home. It's not like they can't cook it at home, but they don't have the time. Like I love cooking in the thought process of I have a single mother who goes to work, who picks up her kids, and she's a hero for bringing Charles home, and they have a home cooked meal. You know, that narrative in my head stays, but I see it all the time. But it's a juggle and it's scary. It is scary.
All right, so hold on one second. You hit on a couple things. Number one of the things that the larger Goliath competition does is they bundle typically soda. I don't. It could be in QSR, but the typical traditional soda and fries with a burger.
Combos, yes.
So can you bundle with high quality food like you guys serve or Russ and Daughters serve? Is that doable?
I feel like it'll bring it down though. It'll bring the atmosphere down by packaging it. We do have like a classic combo where it's a $10 item for two pieces on one side. But if I give you the whole soda and it cheapens, I feel the experience. It cheapens who we are. Like we're not that person. Unfortunately, we're not them. We're not.
You talked about a perfect check. What's a perfect check?
So you come in, you order your food. Oh, what drink you want with that? We have Razzle Dazzle. You have your limeade. You have your iced tea. Cool. You get a drink. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, packing your bag up. Oh, what dessert would you want today? Peach cobbler, banana pudding, red velvet. Throw that. Okay, cool, great. Now that's the perfect check for me. You come inside, you sort of classic combo, and it's $10. But you know what? You have a larger family, so you get 10 pieces of chicken, 3 sides, and 6 cornbreads for $40. Great value. You're feeding your whole family. Now you got 2 drinks and 2 desserts to feed your family. It's a whole complete meal. That helps our checks out. That's it. And you don't have to stop anywhere else. You got a complete meal. You have breakfast for tomorrow, in fact, or lunch for tomorrow, in fact, because you have some left over, you know. But that's the perfect check for me. Just adding on the extra.
Yes.
And then the other thing. Hold on one second, Larry. And I want to ask Josh from Russ the same question. You guys are all about presentation in many ways. How do you replicate and protect or create sort of a show out of the cooking and prep that you're doing? How do you make that happen on a daily basis and still continue to grow volume and add units?
Unmute yourself, Josh. Yeah.
Training. A lot of work and effort put into the people. And I'll bring up something. First of all, the parallels between Chef Quee's places and Russ and Daughters on this subject is amazing, right? It's all about quality. It's all about the experience. And the upsell, which is not, you know, like you want 1 pound of salmon, get 2 pounds. It's like, hey, how about a coffee? How about those little things really impact us. But I'm going to go back to something that Chef Quee said, and in maintaining that quality and experience and moving forward and growing. He was saying know when to cut your losses with an employee. And it's something we really struggle with because we pride ourselves in really caring for the people that work for us. So we often are sitting, me and my cousin and our directors are sitting in a room saying, you know, this person isn't really working out. Did we give them the opportunity to learn? Did we train them well enough? Did we, these like debates about someone that just is not working? And ultimately, I don't know if you've experienced this, Chef Kui, we end up keeping people too long instead of cycling through and getting the appropriate person for the job, which really hinders our ability to
start using this. Forward. We use this too much when it comes to our business instead of this right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And this right here hurts this right here. Yes.
And there's a balance, right? Because we pride ourselves on using our heart in a way and looking out for our employees, but it often creates more of a challenge, and it's a big thing that we struggle with.
But then you start blaming yourself. You start saying, "Hey, did I do enough for this person? Did I give them all the right information?" Like you blame yourself. Like, why isn't he good? I did it for them, but he's not getting it. What am I not getting it? What am I? But you cannot make everybody grow. You know, not every soil is for that seed, and that's where it's a hard. When do you cut them? When do they become baggage? When they're dead weight? When is it? And then it's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
It becomes part of your system. Eventually you have to, if there's a part of your body that doesn't work anymore and is causing damage to your body, the doctors cut it out. Nobody wants to have that kind of surgery, but it has to be done. Charles, unmute yourself. Tell everybody who you are, and I know you have something to say about this.
It's an interesting subject. I'm Charles Dorn. I have a food and beverage consulting practice, and we specialize actually in the private club industry. And I have some hotel background as well and some restaurant background. What's really interesting is all three of you have talked about what I think is the single most important thing in the industry, which is hiring for attitude, not aptitude. I think that you have three great restaurateurs on the call this morning, all of whom have been successful, or not just the restaurants, but the institutions, as in the case of Russ and Daughters, because those of us that grew up in New York, it's an institution, it's not a restaurant. But having people behind the counter in the case of Russ and Daughters, having people in the kitchen in the case of Sergio, having people in the front and back of the house, as in the case of Chef Kui, is the key to the whole thing, because you guys have all talked about food consistency. I mean, Chef Kui talks about, that overnight crew that's doing it. Josh, you've talked about the commissary situation, et cetera, that you can get the food consistency. And of course, no one's perfect, but you can get that part, but it all relies on employees. And Josh, as you talked about, it's really interesting. Your concepts are your concept is evolving, and that's causing you some growth pains simply because, as you said, the original location is not going to be the Hudson Yards location. And there are people that won't get that. But having the employee that knows how to offset that is a really both challenging thing, but a really important thing. Chef Kui talks about the need to upsell. And I totally get it. And by the way, I thought your point about bundling things in your property not working makes all the sense in the world. And I think you're right, because sometimes bundling people associate with QSRs, and you are not a QSR restaurant, and that's a fact of life. And the same thing goes, for Sergio and his restaurant. You go from 40 seats to 90 seats. You got to evolve, and your average checks have to go up because obviously you got that much more space, and it's just a fact of life. But the key to the whole thing is what you all independently have spoken about, which is people. So no, it wasn't a question; it was a statement, Fred or Larry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's interesting. Everybody's food prices have gone up. I remember, going the The $90 meal is now $150. But the truth of the matter is, as a consumer, and I'd like you or the audience to speak to this after I'm done, there's a perceived value that you must deliver. You just can't tell me that the food prices go up, so I have to pay more. I don't care if your food prices go up. You have to deliver an experience to me. Otherwise, I could always take out food. You know, why do I go to a restaurant? Why do I go and drive and park and go into your place? Why, how do you deliver that experience when you already have a strike against you because this experience is going to cost you 33% more? Um, Peter Herrero, unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone.
Tell everybody
Morning.
who you are and what, and answer my question here.
Okay. Sorry, could you, Peter Herrero, founder of New York Hospitality Group for the last 37 years. We are a 92-year-old restaurant, 3 semi-organic cafes and hospitals, and with on-premise and off-premise catering capacity through the Great American Barbecue Company and Cape of Berry Events. I apologize. Larry, can you rephrase the question for me?
Oh boy, you get a check mark for that one.
No. Well, here, I'll
With
answer
prices being 30% higher than they were just a few years ago, how do you deliver a dining experience so that the value, that the people don't mind paying that money? How do
it.
you, how have you grown during that time when prices have gone up and people are supposed to be leaving you?
I'm glad I heard it again, and there's a reason. Because what you said the first time was the perceived value. We are all on this call. We're all in different positions in the market, and it's funny how our clients see us different ways, and we all have niches. For us, we have to be aware of our clients. Some love the perceived value. So once you give them perceived value, we can be $130, $150 for dinner for 2 without a problem at all. Others just can't afford them. And we need to make the decision as operators on who our clients are going to be. We can try to be all things to all people, and we will probably fail, but we can always broaden our base. We've gone under a several-year renovation to give us flexibility for catering in our building. I'm going to talk just about the restaurant. We gave it a 1932 timeless feel to it because it was founded in 1932. But we have an all-day menu now, which has helped us control food cost and labor costs tremendously. There is no setting up or shutting down the kitchen. The kitchen is always set to do the all-day menu. We know during the day, sandwiches and certain salads will be doing better because of the lower cost for our individuals who are retirees or on a budget. And then there's executives that I'm amazed. We're not an expensive restaurant. Low 30s, 33, 34 per person average for lunch, 40 for dinner. And we're amazed that they can spend $50, $60 for lunch. And we're amazed that people come in and spend $30 for dinner. We need to really give the variety and allow the customer to make the choices. And what I mean by variety, it's not just a big menu. Actually, it's the opposite. It's different price points.
Larry,
it's really what do you think about price points?
I'm actually going on a different tangent. I'd love to talk to this from the customer's perspective, and I'll start with a little anecdote. I had the opportunity to eat at ZZ's Club a couple weeks ago. I will never, I don't care how much money I make, pay $43,000 to get the opportunity to go to a restaurant and pay every time. The experience was spectacular, like no other, right? And I sat there and I was like, why the hell would people do this? Because they're billionaires and they have money, whatever, and they could do it. But then I thought about my experience. I go out to eat, or used to before I had a kid, all the time, 4 or 5 nights a week, and nice places and not nice places. The perceived value is entirely, and I feel it every time I go out to eat, is entirely dependent on your experience. And Chef Kui, you spoke to this, that interaction, right, with the staff. If I have a pleasant time, or the server makes me laugh, or I enjoy that experience, I almost don't care what I'm paying, right? Obviously the food should be good and everything else should be good, but that is something that seems to me in a lot of places in New York to be disappearing. And you go and sit down in a restaurant, you're paying $200 a person for a meal, and the servers don't even care to like meet you where you are, right? You're looking at a customer, you're like, where are you guys? Did you just have a death in the family? Are you celebrating something? Are you, as Chef Kui said, meet you where you are and attempt to make that experience pleasurable and interesting. And that's something that's going away. So I had a weirdly, I didn't expect it, but a weirdly nice experience at Zzz's, but it made me think about all of the lack of perceived value and experience and pleasantness when I go to a restaurant. I mean, I have my favorite places and I usually get a spot, but sometimes I go to a favorite place and no one I know is working there, and they're like, don't know who I am, and like, like it's like, oh, that sort of sucked, and I paid $250 a person. That's kind of lame. Anyway, I don't know if that.
Yeah, no, what you've hit is, a restaurant isn't just a place to eat. Well, at least to us old folk, it's not just a place. It's a night out. It's a dining experience. We want to go with friends. We want to be able to have a good time with people. We want to interact. We want to see what's going around. All right. If it's a sterile experience, then why not just go to McDonald's?
Larry,
And
if I may.
go ahead, Peter.
You hit it right on the spot, by the way, when you said meeting our clients, our customers, our patrons where they are. And the hard part is I think our market for all of us has changed so much that I would have never thought that we would be someone's boardroom. We made a room for private catering, and somebody asked us, could we get a monitor TV in there? I bought it, I put it in, and now it's $75. Not a lot of money, but I think it cost us $600 to buy it and install it. We've already paid for it in 6 months. And now if you throw an event with us more than once, we comp it to make you feel. But you're right on when you say meeting our clients where they are. The hard part is our clients from month to month, year to year, and depending on their personal life or their professional life, are all over the map. I think that's one of our biggest challenges. It is to stay with our clients because they're moving so fast. What does the panel think?
Sergio.
Well, yes, I do agree. We have to like I understand that aside from being a restaurant and customers coming into the door for a meal, it is an entertainment. We are in an entertainment business. The interaction with the customers is to make them feel good. Yes, give them what they're looking for, or at least try, or have something for them to that enjoy aside from just the meal.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
I think it goes back to the question of, a lot of us got stuck during the pandemic thinking that we were in the food production business and wanted to take out delivery. And now we're back in the experience business again. And how do you define it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the different, we went back to hiring and training and cutting, and it all goes back to, you can make the best product in the world. If you have a zero delivering that product to your table. It's the difference between hiring a professional wait staff and order takers. Order
Yeah.
takers belong at McDonald's where they don't even look at you in the eyes. The wait staff, Chef Kui, I cannot imagine anyone being a zero and being in your place more than an hour.
And you're absolutely right. And the problem is where my heart and my mind goes. I manage the process. I no longer try to manage the people. I manage the process. And if they can't take A to make it to B, then I have to let them go. I usually stick to them and I usually continue to train, but the procedure is what I manage. And I would teach the procedure. And if you can't handle it, then I have to let you go. And that's where I have to go because I get so caught up in their life story. You have someone who come to you has no family at all. And you like, oh, I'll take you as family. And understand these people are my family. I see people more than I see my wife and I live with her. So I grow attachments. Like I don't watch Netflix. Their own individual stories are so entertaining, so sad, and where your heart just pour out to them, and you're like, you know what? I can take a pay cut. Let me pay her rent. Let me pay his rent. Oh, his mom is in the hospital. Oh, let me do this. Oh, the funeral. Let me take care of their rent and make sure that there's so much going on. But you gotta say, hey, stop. Can you take A and put it to B? All right, cool. Let me try it 3 times. Let me show you again. Now show me you can do it. I'm gonna leave you alone. Oh, you can't do it? Unfortunately, I have another position. I try that one more time, then it's bye. So that's where my heart is at. But fellas, it's been real. This conversation's been so interesting that I had to stay a little bit longer past my time.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Josh, we definitely got to get up. We got to talk. Everyone else here is amazing, and I love this table. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Be well.
Thank
Thank
you,
Great to
you.
meet you, Chef Kui.
Thank
No
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. And
Um,
on
I-
that note, it is that time of the show where time is our enemy and time has us wrapping up. So before we go, what I would like you to do is let's go around the smaller room now and give that one little tidbit, that one thing that you want people to take away and remember about you and your restaurants. Sergio, why don't you start?
Well, the what I would like everybody to know is like how much passion I put into this. How I live at the restaurant. It's my life. I do everything. It all drives to the pleasure of the customers sitting at my table. I've been doing this for many years, and I take pride. I take pride in what I do, and I see it when I see my customers come in and visit me on a weekly basis. Like I see the same faces coming in a weekly basis. For the ones that have a passion for the restaurant, don't do it. Don't open a restaurant, but give it a try if you may. But it's a tough business, but you can only do it if you love it, and I happen to be there.
Okay, just a fast aside here before we move to Josh. The first time we went to Sergio's restaurant, when the little one, and my wife loved the food, but she did not love her wine. And Sergio walked by and saw that the wine glass was too full for where it should be. And Sergio spoke to her for a couple minutes and then disappeared. And he came back with a different wine. He goes, try this one on me. She drinks that wine today. She drinks that wine today. And that little touch, him noticing and him making that switch to make the dining experience better for my wife, made us regular customers. And I just wanted to pat you on the video back for that one and let you know that it works. Josh. So let's talk
Hi.
about your tidbit.
And my tidbit is Russ and Daughters. We're upholding a New York experience, which is appetizing and something that's not as prevalent as it was. But we're a 110-year-old family business, and we're trying to connect our family's immigrant history to present day life, and to connect with everyone that walks in the door, Jews, non-Jews, old, young. And we care, as we've all said, passion is the basis of what we do. And hopefully that passion gets passed down from me and my cousin to our employees that are standing at these counters. And that's our hopes.
Thank you. Thank you. Fred.
I think it's all about the combination of presentation and creating a unique experience, much of which is the actual quality of the food, and the other piece of which is the show that goes on with the prep of the food.
Okay. Before I say goodbye, I just want to mention our benefactors, Produce Experience, the purveyors of the finest herbs, salads, and tropical produce. If quality is important to you, check out Produce Experience. And I see him up there. Hi, Ed Flanagan, and expense reduction analysts. There's gold hidden in those invoices that you just read, count the boxes, stick on a pin, and somebody else takes care of the rest. There's gold hidden in there. If you want to find that gold, call Ed. Ed would be very, very happy to answer your call and talk to you how he can save you a pile of money. So once again, it's that time. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I would love to see you again in 2 weeks when we'll be back again. And until that time, I only have two things to say. Everyone, stay positive, test negative, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye now.
Thanks, guys.